My name is Jay, and I am mixed race. I was born and raised in Scotland by my Irish mother and Pakistani father. Growing up, I have always had a sense of insecurity and confusion of where I belong, but I've never really confronted the question of my mixed heritage. Then last year my father passed away. That left me with many unanswered questions and brought back all those childhood insecurities about who I am and where I fit in, and it got me wondering, I can't be the only one who feels like this.
One of my biggest regrets since he passed away was not getting to know him and getting to know his background and his family. And at the end of the day, it's my heritage. No matter how much I neglect it, it is part of me. And I feel like I would regret not knowing that heritage. I thought, like, when I have kids of my own and they ask us, Dad, like, where does our ethnicity come? I'd like to be able to give them an answer rather than say, I don't know, son, or I don't know, daughter, like, I neglected my dad and neglected it, so I can't teach you what they know. I want to meet people who are mixed race just to get an idea of whether or not sort of like they've had the same struggles as me growing up. Because growing up I didn't have people to talk to, I kind of had to deal with it myself. I feel like now's a good time where I'm kind of at an age of maturity where I can talk about it more. And not only that, but bring other people who may have not had the chance to talk about it and bring them into the conversation.
Nessa is someone on my course at university. I suppose we've both known that each of us is mixed race, but we have never asked each other directly, until now.
I'm Vanessa Skeggs, I'm 21 years old, I do media and performance, and I am Dominican and English. So my dad is from Essex and my mum is part Dominican, but we don't know her dad's ethnicity because she was adopted.
So you associate yourself as an English Dominican Republic then, would you?
Well, we used to think she was Nigerian, because that's her dad on her birth certificate, but now we're not sure. So yeah, that was a recent change in events for me. But I found out from a book that my social worker gave me when I was like 16 about my mum. So I've had the information since I was 16, but I only properly read it like at Christmas because I was a stubborn teenager and was like, I don't want to read that. Put it to the side.
It seems like me that Nessa has only just started to confront her heritage. Only in our 20s have we begun to understand or become interested in the very thing that makes us who we are.
So how did you feel like growing up, not knowing fully who you were?
It was difficult because I was in an environment where everyone could be like, oh, my mum's from here, my dad's from here, and I'd be like, I don't know. Because my dad left when I was 2 anyway, so I didn't have that part of my history anyway. So it was difficult, and I had people in school that would be like, because at that point I thought I was Nigerian, and there was one girl who was fully Nigerian, like both her parents were from Nigeria, and she was like, oh, can you speak this language? And I was like, no. And she was like, well, then you're not Nigerian, and like would tell everyone that I was just faking it. And I don't really know what she thought that was going to achieve, like that I was like fake tanning as a kid. But yeah, that made it difficult because then kids in the playground questioning you make you question yourself. But that's definitely something that's come with age as well, is being confident in myself and saying it doesn't matter what other people think because I'm here.
Meeting Nessa today, I enjoyed it. It was nice because I got to sort of share my own experience and meet someone else who has the same sort of issues of being mixed race. And not only that, but it was also nice to just get a different perspective from things. It was nice that someone else sort of shared my own issues, and it was just nice, not even to get answers, but just to kind of get that off your chest and sort of have it was more like kind of like a therapy session.
I'm now meeting Yas, who's 16 years older than me. I wanted to find out if this questioning, this insecurity about my mixed heritage is just a passing phase, or is it something I need to pursue?
I'm Yas Al-Hassani, I'm from Manchester, and now I am a business economist and a management consultant, and I do a lot of acting from commercials to TV series and featured films.
So like for me growing up, I had like a white mother and a Asian dad, and one was Catholic, one was Muslim, and so growing up I always struggled, like, do I choose this religion, do I choose that religion, which parent do I make more proud? Which friends do I hang around with, my white friends, my Asian friends, and I struggled to fit in sometimes, and I just kind of felt like an outsider. I was just wondering, did you ever like have that sort of experience as well?
A little bit, but I think that's just also, if you're born in Manchester and you've got an ethnic background, you're surrounded with a lot of, you know, English culture. For example, like you said, if you go to the religious side and go to your Muslim family and that type of group, they don't normally do the same things as like your English and your football sort of mates and your friends. So it's only until you like reach like a teenager that you start to grow up and think, I'll decide for myself. And then it's just a matter of not letting what other people think dictate what you feel, what makes you feel comfortable. But you know, you do get that. With me, I speak English with my dad, and I speak Arabic with my mum. I could speak Arabic with both of them. There's also like a conflict between the two there. And it's like, you can't mix your Muslim type friends sometimes with your English type friends and your football friends that go to the pub after football. I mean, there's no harm in going to the pub if you're not going to drink and things, but them type of friends wouldn't go out and socialise with them. So it's like, you have two sets of friends. The same in like the corporate world. A lot of the corporate world is all based around networking and socialising. That's how a lot of deals get done, and most of them are done around a table where they want to drink wine and things. And it's like, you don't need to be that strict or torn. You know, you can still sit on a table and socialise with people and talk about things without having to drink alcohol and what have you. So, as I say, you just need to be a bit more mature and grown up about it.
Yas is obviously comfortable with who he is, but I can't help thinking that somehow he's put the difficult questions to one side and told himself to just get on with it. I'm not sure I'm ready to do that. I'm not sure that I could be mature and grown up without embracing fully who I am. There's a social enterprise called Mixed, which was set up by Bradley Lincoln, specifically to help mixed people. Bradley has met and interviewed many people of mixed heritage, so if anyone can help me through this, then he's probably the guy.
My name is Bradley Lincoln, and I own a project called Mixed.
How did the social enterprise Mixed start?
The initial reason for setting up Mixed was merely to tell my story and to create a platform for people to talk about things which are important to them. So I created the term mixed, and I took the E out of mixed to remove all the artificial additives which clogged up the discussion. And also at the end of mixed you have you have a colon, as in punctuation from the general to the specific. Black and white Caribbean mix will be different to white Asian mix, will be different to white African mix. And what was happening was there was a very narrow perspective that everybody who's mixed race had the same experience. And what I found through the research was actually it was much more broader than that. But then position myself as a learner, not as a mixed race person who knows everything about being mixed race, and just ask lots of young people what they thought. To travel up and down the country, and I spoke to hundreds and hundreds of young people, and they taught me so much about what it meant to be mixed, and then started to make resources for professionals and parents and carers so that they could hear what mixed race people were saying.
When you were growing up mixed, how did that make you feel?
When I was growing up, my father is black Jamaican and my mum is white English. Mum and dad split up when I was young, and I used to go on holiday with my father and his second family. And on one particular holiday I got into a fight with some boys because they're calling me a blackie and a nigger, and I got upset because I was a sensitive child. And my dad said, well, why are you crying? I said, because, you know, he's calling me a blackie and nigger. He said, well, you ain't black. So I thought, oh damn, you're black, you must know. And as a child you don't answer your parent back. And I would say that was the beginning of my kind of internal conversation around mixed race identity. But always in the back of my mind, I always felt not black enough to be black or white enough to be white. So there was always that sensation of just feeling a little bit out of place, even though my parents were doing a great job to support me and love me.
So why do mixed race people have these feelings of not knowing who they are?
There are 3 definite categories which happen in the development of mixed race identity. So the first space is nowhereness, where someone feels not black enough to be black, white enough to be white, Asian enough to be Asian. So it's always that not enough thing. Then there's a space called somewhereness, where an individual over-identify with one side of their parent culture. And what the young people taught me was a lot of them experienced that, where they would disown either their white side or their black side, just in order to fit in. So it was a very general sense of wanting to fit in. The third space which they went to, which is a space called groundedness, and that's where they take both sides of their parent culture and create an identity which wasn't specific like either. They don't want to use multiple heritage to describe themselves because everybody is multiple heritage. The second one is dual heritage, and they said, well, we don't really want dual heritage because if somebody has more than 2 heritages within their background, then that's removing who they are, those 2 heritages. So the terms at which they decided on were mixed and mixed race.
Meeting Bradley has given me some peace, and knowing it is okay to talk about my feelings of being mixed, and to know that he is helping people like me, has helped me understand that I am not alone. On this journey, I feel like I've understood that there are people going through the same things as me. Others that don't feel like that was much of a problem, and others that are trying to help people to talk about their emotions. I might understand myself a bit more, but I have to carry on my journey of trying to understand myself.